Today's lesson is Bologna, Italy's hidden gem. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And we're traveling to Bologna in the month of June here, and it's a great time to go there during the summer. And we talked about this kind of hidden gem of Europe. It's not really a town or city that a lot of people go to, at least not as much as Rome or Florence or Venice or whatever. So that's why we're describing this as a hidden gem, a really interesting, unique, special place that you ought to think about checking out.
Absolutely. We've already learned that Bologna is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, or at least the porticos of Bologna, which go back to the Middle Ages. One of these very interesting, unique structures you'll find on many buildings. There are 40 kilometers of these incredible and historic porticos. That's why they've become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And you can go to Piazza Maggiore to see a lot of them, to see good examples of that. And don't forget the Basilica of San Petronio. It's one of the most famous buildings in Bologna. It's the 6th largest church in Europe, I believe. It's got a really old sundial. It's got an organ that still works. And also there's the Fountain of Neptune, a wonderful piece of art. And we have barely scratched the surface of Bologna. And I've also noticed we haven't really gone inside yet. We've just been enjoying the architecture outside in the city. So let's check out some of the other things and even some of the things we might want to eat in Fat City or Bologna.
Bologna was once filled with tall defensive towers, but only 22 have survived. The most famous are the two towers, Asinelli and Garisenda. At 97 meters tall, the Asinelli Tower is the tallest tower in Bologna. Walk up 498 steps to the top of this narrow, leaning tower for the best views in the city. What the Garisenda Tower lacks in height, it makes up for in lean. In fact, it leans more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
大家好，第一部分我们先来介绍形容词 defensive， 它的意思是防御性的或是防卫的。例如 The country had defensive reasons for building a new navy base. 该国基于防御的理由打造一座新的海军基地。又或者说 That team has very strong defensive players. 那支队伍有很强的防守员。再来我们看到动词 lean， 它指的是身体倾斜，使倚靠。在课文中 leaning 为现在分词做形容词用，表示倾斜的。例如 The leaning tree had finally fell down after the storm. 暴风雨过后，那棵倾斜的树终于倒下了。接着我们看到片语 make up for 加名词或是动词 ing， 指的是弥补或是补偿点点点的缺失或不足。例如 The basketball player makes up for his slow speed with his very accurate shooting. 那名篮球员以精准的射篮弥补他速度上的不足。或是 Jenny's boyfriend took her out to dinner to make up for being late the day before. 为了补偿前一天迟到，Jenny 的男友请她出去吃晚餐。
Okay, so here in the first paragraph it says, Bologna was once filled with tall, defensive towers, but only 22 have survived. Now, there are probably various reasons why you want to build a tower. In this particular case, they built the towers to serve defensive purposes. In other words, I guess you'd have lookouts in the towers to look and see if enemy soldiers were coming into the city, and you could sound an alarm, and then the city's armies could get ready and defend the city from these invaders. So that's why these towers were defensive. They were kind of military in nature.
There you go. So you can see your enemies from far away, and of course, if you're at the top of the tower dropping rocks down on your enemy's head, it's going to be hard for them to get into your tower. So it's a wonderful place to protect or defend a city from. But unfortunately, there aren't that many left. There's only 22 that have survived. But really, when you think about it, these towers are very, very old. old, so even having 22 is kind of a miracle. But there are a couple that as a tourist you might be sort of drawn to. It says the most famous are the two towers, Asinelli and Garisenda. Those are the two ones that you might know or you might see pictures of or might visit. Let's look at one of them. It says at 97 meters tall, the Asinelli Tower is the tallest tower in Bologna. 97 meters, that's not small. And considering it was made with stone, probably long before they had modern construction techniques, that's quite impressive. And I imagine you can still climb up there if you have the energy, because it's a fair ways.
Indeed, so you probably need to be in shape. You can walk up 498 steps to the top of this narrow, leaning tower for the best views in the city. So that's nice. This old tower that's very tall allows you to actually walk the stairs up inside of it. But again, you probably need to be prepared for quite a climb there because you need to climb up or walk up 498 steps to the top. And the tower is narrow, but it's also leaning. So here we've got the verb to lean, which means to kind of go in one direction. It's not perfectly straight up and down. It's kind of at an angle, and it might fall down. Sometimes if you're tired and you're walking outside, but there's no place to sit down, you can lean against a wall. You're at an angle against the wall, trying to rest or to support yourself upward. In this case, the tower is leaning, which is what that famous tower in Pisa does, the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
That's right. And we have leaning towers in other parts of Italy, too. I didn't know that. And so that's the Asinelli Tower. It's tall and it leans a little bit. What about that other famous one? Well, we learn what the Garisenda Tower lacks in height. It makes up for in lean. Oh, interesting. So the Garisenda Tower is not as tall as the Asinelli Tower, not quite 97, but it leans more than the Asinelli Tower. It makes up for that lack of height with its lean or in lean. So it's a little bit shorter, but it leans at a bigger angle. In fact, we learn it leans more than the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Well, that's quite incredible because the Leaning Tower of Pisa, of course, is famous in Italy for being that tower that leans. But if you go to Bologna, you'll find another tower. Maybe it looks a little different. Maybe it's not as pretty, but it leans even more. Incredible.
Yeah, so if you're into leaning towers, this is definitely one you need to check out if you've already checked out the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's take a stroll through some more parts of Bologna. In the second part, let's listen.
After touring the two towers, take a stroll through the streets of the Quadrilatero. Dating back to the Middle Ages, this market is full of colorful stalls and gourmet grocery shops. Shop for Italian favorites like fresh pasta, aged cheese, and local wines, or stop at one of the many restaurants nearby to try pasta with bolognese sauce, a local specialty. Another great attraction to check out is the Finestrella. Translating simply as little window, the Finestrella is just that, a small window that offers a rare glimpse of one of Bologna's canals. A lovely view that makes the window one of the city's most Instagrammed spots.
第二部分我们看到单字 stall， 它是名词，意思是摊位或是隔间。例如 Anna opened a stall in the market to sell fresh fruit and vegetables from her farm. Anna 在市场上开了一个摊位，出售她农场里的新鲜水果和蔬菜。再看一个例子Singapore has a lot of amazing food stalls selling Indian and Malaysian food. 新加坡有很多很棒的摊贩，贩售印度和马来西亚美食。再来，我们看到的是名词 attraction， 指的是有吸引力的地方或事物，或是吸引力。举例来说 ，One of the town's biggest attractions is the statue of the fish. 这个城镇最具吸引力的景点之一，就是鱼的雕像。另外补充这个字的动词 attract, A-T-T-R-A-C-T, attract, 意思是吸引。例如 The actor's wedding has attracted a lot of attention from the press. 那位演员的婚礼吸引了媒体的大量关注。最后我们看到单字 canal， 它是名词，意思是运河、水道或是沟渠。例如 Roberta traveled to Venice and took a boat ride through the canals.Roberta 去威尼斯旅游， 并乘船游览穿过运河。
Okay, so we checked out those two towers there. Asinelli and Garisenda, and they've got some unique characteristics. But after touring the two towers, after you've checked them out, take a stroll through the streets of the Quadrilatero. In any case, you want to take a stroll through the streets of this area. If you stroll, if you take a stroll, it just means you're going for a leisurely walk. You're not in a big hurry because you're on holiday after all. You don't need to be in a big rush to get to all these different places. Just take your time and take in the scenery. Yeah, take a stroll through the streets of this place called Quadrilatero.
Okay, what do we find there? Well, dating back to the Middle Ages, this market is full of colorful stalls and gourmet grocery shops. All right, this is where we're going to get our food. This is where we discover why Bologna is also called Fat City. The Quadrilateral is a good place to start off your food tour. You'll find colorful stalls and gourmet grocery shops in a market that dates back, that ages back, or can be dated back to the Middle Ages. And there's been people shopping and buying food there ever since, from colorful stalls and gourmet grocery shops. A stall is a very simple structure, often with just a table, maybe a covering overhead to keep the sun off your head, and maybe a table in front where the vendor stands on one side, the shoppers stand on the other side. Everything is laid out on the tables in front of the vendor. There are no walls, doors, windows, things like that. It's just look at the things on the table, pass your money across, the vendor puts it in a bag, off you go. If you go to a night market and you're buying things just from those people who don't have stores, who just set up a table on the street, that's what we mean here by a stall. But they also have shops. They have actual structures, and these will be these gourmet grocery shops they mention, where you can buy all the wonderful foods you would imagine you can buy in Italy. It says shop for Italian favorites like fresh pasta, aged cheese, and local wines, or stop at one of the many restaurants nearby to try pasta with bolognese sauce, a local specialty. I'm already hungry. But yes, if you go to Italy, you definitely want to try some pasta. Pasta is basically the thing that you make noodles from. If you get some salt, some flour, some water, mix them all up, roll it out, and cut it into interesting shapes, you have pasta. A lot of people would say, oh, Italian food, spaghetti. Well, spaghetti is only a type of pasta. The long, round noodles. We also have linguine, we have vermicelli, we have orecchietti, we have lasagna, we have farfalle, which is the little bow tie shaped ones.
Okay.
These are all different types of pasta. So if you're an Italian person, you would say, I need pasta, and the shape of the pasta is based on what kind of sauce you serve it with. But that's basically the noodle dish in all shapes and sizes. As a collective, as a thing, as a food item, we call it pasta, but each shape has its own special name.
So you can buy some and take some back with you and cook it later, or you can check out some of the local restaurants and you can try some pasta with bolognese sauce, which is a local specialty. A specialty, of course, is unique to the area. Of course, here in Taiwan, lots of different towns have different specialties that you should check out if you travel to those places. And again, if you're in this place, yeah, you need to check out their famous local sauce because you probably can't get it as good in other places. Now, another great attraction to check out is the Finestrella or Finestrella, and it's an attraction. So if you go to some place and it's attracting your attention and lots of people are going there, then that is a local attraction. Like in Taiwan, of course, probably the biggest attraction is Taroko Gorge or Kending or various places. Those are popular tourist attractions.
All right, Finestrella. So what is it? Translating simply as little window. That's what Finestrella means, little window. The Finestrella is just that, a small window that offers a rare glimpse of one of Bologna's canals. A lovely view that makes the window one of the city's most Instagrammed spots. Wow, okay, so make sure you have your phone phone camera ready. You want to go to Finestrella, this small window. It offers a rare glimpse of one of the city's canals. I didn't know they had canals in Bologna, so that's already a bit of surprise. And it's apparently a rare thing. Something that's rare is hard to find, right? It's not common. In Venice, a glimpse of a canal would not be rare because the city is just surrounded by canals. But in Bologna, if there's only a few, this gives you one of the rare or very unlikely, sort of unusual chances to get a quick view or a glimpse. A glimpse is just a quick view of something. Maybe you're traveling in a car and you just get a glimpse of your friend as you're speeding by them, or maybe the curtains blow open and you get a glimpse outside before they fall back closed or something like that. It's a quick view that happens and then is gone, and if you noticed it, great, but you might not have seen it because it happened so quickly. And this is a quick glimpse of the canals there.
A canal, of course, is like an artificial river that has boats on it. Of course, Venice is famous for its canals. And Bangkok, Thailand used to be famous for its canals, but I think most of them are filled in now. They just don't provide enough practical transportation. But they still got canals there in Bologna. And you can catch a glimpse of those canals from this place here, from the Finestrella. And a lovely view can be had, and it makes the window one of the city's most Instagrammed spots. So that's where you look at pictures. Of course, you go to Instagram, or IG, as you like to call it here. So indeed, you've probably received lots of pictures from your friends or relatives who have traveled to this place and posted pictures of this lovely view. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's listen now to the third part and wrap things up.
With so much character, it's no wonder that Bologna has several nicknames. Call it what you will, beautiful Bologna is well worth a visit.
Okay, so again, we have the same pattern here. With so much to offer, it's no wonder that it has this other characteristic. So yes, we begin the conclusion here with so much character. It's no wonder that Bologna has several nicknames. We talked about those before. The Red City, the Fat City, etc. Those are different kinds of nicknames. And so we're talking about this place having a lot of character. If you've got character, you are a special thing. You're a special person. And you are unique and you're different from most people. You're not weird, okay? You're not crazy or anything like that, but you are very special and lots of people want to get to know you.
And then we finish off with, call it what you will, beautiful Bologna is well worth a visit. This is a reference back to the first paragraph on the first day when we learned that Bologna has these other nicknames, right? The Red City, the Learned City, Fat City. So no matter what you call it whatever you want, Bologna is well worth a visit. So basically, the name isn't that important. It's cool. It's a good place to go. Call it what you will. Pearl milk tea, boba milk tea, bubble milk tea. This is a very famous drink from Taiwan, right? If I say it like that, it doesn't really matter what name you use. Everyone knows it. Everyone should try it. It's delicious. So the name isn't that important. Bologna is well worth a visit. I agree.
Yeah, call it what you will. You could also say no matter what you call it, no matter how you refer to it, it's still a great place to check out. It's well worth a visit. It's certainly worth your money to spend on airfare there. And I suppose you should probably try and stay at one of those old hotels there. I've never been to Italy before myself. Have you been to Italy before, Mike?
No.
No.
But I'd really like to. It's been on a bucket list for far too long.
Yeah, it's a very popular destination. Yes. And I think Italy has the most World Heritage Sites in the world. But in any case, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Let's turn things over now to Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点，读到文章结尾的最后两句。第一句他说 With so much character, it's no wonder that Bologna has several nicknames. 波隆纳有如此多的特色，难怪它有好几个昵称。好，句子里面的 character 在这里是当不可数名词，用来表达特色或是特点。那另外文中它用到 it's no wonder 加上 that 子句，去表达难怪怎么样怎么样。那我们来学习这样的用法 ，it's no wonder 或是 it's little wonder。It's small wonder 它们后面可以搭配 that 子句去表达难怪怎么样或是什么什么不足为奇，其中的 it 是虚主词，用来代替后面的 that 子句。那我们在口语当中你还可以直接用 no wonder 或是 little wonder 或是 small wonder 加上 that 子句，然后这个 that 也可以省略哦。例如 Rabbits are cute, fluffy and cuddly.It's no wonder that people love keeping them as pets. 或者是也可以说 No wonder people love keeping them as pets. 兔子啊，可爱，毛茸茸又惹人怜爱，难怪人们喜欢养它们来当宠物。好，我们顺便补充几个句型，可以用来表达什么什么不令人意外，不足为奇，跟刚刚我们说这个 no wonder 句型意思差不多，蛮类似的。好，例如 It is no surprise 或者是 It is little surprise 搭配 that 子句，还有 It is not surprising 或者是 It is hardly surprising 加上 that 子句，或者是 It comes as no surprise 或是 It comes as little surprise 加上 that 子句。那我们这边要补充一下 come as a surprise 是指令人惊讶，叫人跌破眼镜。那如果我们是用 It comes as no surprise 或是 little surprise 去搭配 that 子句，这则是在表达 that 子句所描述的事情不令人意外，是在意料之中。好，我们接着看到课文最后一句，他说Call it what you will. Beautiful Bologna is well worth a visit. 想叫什么就叫什么吧，美丽的波隆纳非常值得一游。那么 call it what you will 就是表达随你怎么称呼它，你想叫什么就叫什么。好，那么另外要介绍的则是 worth 的用法。worth 它表示价值什么什么，或者是值得点点点的。好，那我们来看第一个用法呢，你可以用它来表达值多少钱的。那用法是 be worth 加上金额。例如 The painting is now worth $5 million. 那幅画现在价值500万美元。好，那第二个用法我们可以用 worth 去表达值得什么什么的。那这个用法是 be worth 加上名词或动名词。举例来说 The TV show is worth watching.那个电视节目值得一看。The book is well worth a read. 那本书非常值得一读。好，那这个例句呢，我们就有跟课文一样用到 well。well 是当副词用来强调 worth， 所以 well worth a read 就可以表达非常值得一读的那种语义咯。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Defensive.The turtle shell gives it a defensive barrier against attack. Lean. The old man leaned against the wall to catch his breath. Stall. Carol has a small street stall where she sells cheap jewelry. Pasta. The cook used flour, water, and eggs to make the pasta. Specialty. The bakery's specialty is their freshly baked cinnamon roll. Attraction.The Grand Canyon is a natural wonder and a popular tourist attraction in Arizona, USA. Glimpse. The fans caught a glimpse of the pop star when he stood by the hotel window. Canal. The canals are used to provide the local farms with water.
Discussion starter starts now!
Okay, we are back with our discussion starter question. Which two attractions in Bologna would you most like to visit and why?
I'd like to most visit the porticos and those towers. They sound kind of cool. I'm into old buildings and old structures and stuff like that. And, if I've got the time, I might bring along a sketchbook and try my hand at urban sketching there.
Great idea.
In the cities. Just sit down with some paper and some pencils and some watercolors or whatever and have a go. I'm sure lots of people like to do this sort of thing, especially with the architecture. How about you?
Well, let's see. The quadrilateral Quadrilateral and the Leaning Tower are the two attractions, maybe the Asinelli, the tall tower, are the two attractions I'd most like to visit. I say that because I could climb the Asinelli Tower, those 498 steps, burn off a lot of calories, and then go to the Quadrilateral and buy myself a huge plate of pasta, eat it, and not feel terrible afterwards because, I got my exercise in. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Mike.
I am Roger. See you next time.